Oshingongongongo, Jaguatera, Moshi Warongo. Ochingongongongo, Jaguatera, Mochi Warongo. Oshingongongongo, Jaguatera, Moshi Warongo. Ochingongongongo, Jaguatera, Mochi Warongo. Tunakamuguma, Shaman Kabambawe, Washiri Wambaiza, Washiri Wambaiza, Trisi Wambaiza, Dennis Wambaiza, Asanda Wamarenga, Stika Kamuguma, Tita Wamarenga, Walua Wamarenga, Papa Wamarenga, Kama Wamarenga, Maki Wambatema. Vinashivaka vishenje, just hold your head up high. Hold your head up high, made up to the sky. It's me, yeah. It's me, yeah. Ek makera sos vrupa. Mandero rirokoli ya hiyangoro. Shibera bora shibe hiyangoro. Veve shatindibe kawanaka shiugo. Kamuyanga irobere tondo uamurangi. DJ Soro, Kashango. Shithube, vere, Kashango. Pumumu yetenga. Volta kawea ho, volta kawea ho. Mamero, elimoandu, baiza, almoero. Farakana, mutengwa shivikwa.
And opinions expressed on the radio program by the guests, advertisers, news bulletins, call-in listeners or chatters are solely the views and opinions of the source who express them. They do not necessarily reflect the opinions and the views of Trustco Group International, the broadcast regulators in Namibia, or that of the Informante radio station. This is Informante Radio.
And it's a jolly good morning once again. It's Thursday, the 25th of November, 2021. Good morning, guys.
Good morning,
everybody. Morning, Tuva. Morning. Morning, Mitch.
Moro.
Jay, all right?
It is all right.
Okay, Kaufi.
All good.
You had a good night's sleep?
Very.
No?
Very, yes.
Okay. It was Mummy's night last night.
Yes.
I believe you told me that you've been at an event last night.
Yes, I was at an awards event for mountain bike riders, males and females.
Okay.
It was actually quite a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
What time did you bust home?
No. It went until 10 o'clock. So although everything was still open, all that, we finished at 10 o'clock and went home.
Okay.
You know, none of this mommy's night till 2 o'clock in the morning and then dragging yourself to work on a Thursday morning.
I was also at an event last night. I got home, say, roughly around 11-ish, I would say.
Yes.
Ja, so ek het dan my kop is daarmee te dik nie.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, ek weet ek het 'n dik kop, maar my kop voel nie dik nie.
Whose lifeless body was found in the dead flea less than 24 hours after he was reported missing, suffered from severe liver cirrhosis. This was indicated in the results of the post-mortem examination. The 54-year-old Nicholas Ramondier was part of a group of 6 tourists who hiked up the Big Daddy Dune in the Sossusvlei area on the 11th of November. The 31-year-old suspect who was arrested by the Namibian police at Oshakati on Tuesday afternoon after he allegedly fled from a scene of a fatal hit-and-run incident in which a child was killed will appear in the town's magistrate court on Thursday. He faces at least 6 criminal charges, namely culpable homicide, driving while under the influence of alcohol, reckless and negligent driving, driving without a license, fleeing from the scene of an accident and failure to ascertain the nature of injury and render necessary assistance, and defeating the course of justice. The accident occurred in the Omainene location of Oshakati on Tuesday. And finally, Namibia's renowned wildlife protector, Simpson Urikop, has received a Lifetime Achievement Award in the United Kingdom for his outstanding dedication and exceptional contribution to conservation in Africa. Urikop, the Chief Executive Officer of Save the Rhino Trust, was on Monday evening personally handed the Prince William Award for Conservation in Africa by the Duke of Cambridge at the 2021 Tusk Conservation Awards held in London. Your Trustco share price today, the 25th of November, is at $1.41. The US dollar is trading at $15.90, the euro at $17.90, and the British pound at $21.30. This was Informante Live, and these were our top stories. You can find more on our website, which is informante.web.na.
Informante News. Informante News. Informante News. Informante News. Firm but fair.
In the voice of President Hage Geingob, you can go to hell. You can go to hell. Go to hell. Kuma, guten Morgen, coffee only.
Guten Morgen. That's it. Dankie.
Nonsense. Good morning to you all out there. Coffee, what do you have for us
in terms of the coronavirus cases?
Yeah.
Well, this might be something that we need to discuss. Okay, let me give you the stats first. We've had 129,126 registered cases thus far, with 125,458 recovered. We've had 3,571 deaths. Here comes the big trick. Remember, the daily new cases were basically at 0. And we are basically today standing at the daily new cases of 15. And the active 15 and the active cases are at 97, with 2 more deaths reported. Now the big question is this the turning point of things to come? Okay, I'm just leaving it there.
Don't start.
I'm leaving it
with
there.
Your nonsense.
No, I'm still quite positive about all of this. So let's not become too despondent about this, but let's see what happens.
Yeah. Ne?
Nothing else we can do.
Yeah. We hope, we sincerely hope that we can have a peaceful holiday season coming up.
Yes.
And that I think everything that we've enjoyed up until now, that there shouldn't be any repercussions.
Yes.
Going forward, and then we can all come back in January, all in one piece.
Yeah.
And not in pieces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And then looking at the weather forecast for today, the fresh to strong westerly winds are expected over the interior on Thursday and on Friday. So it looks as if we're going to get another windy day today and tomorrow. Otherwise, the interior partly cloudy and hot to very hot in the south and the eastern half, with a few to isolated thunder showers in the Kavango East and Zambezi regions. Elsewhere, sunny and hot to very hot. The coast partly cloudy and cool to mild, with a wind moderate northwesterly to southwesterly. Then looking at the maximum temperatures for today, in Windhoek 30, in Walvis Bay 23, with Swakopmund 21. Going to the north of the country, going to Congo 34, Umuthia 36, and Ondangwa also 36. Going over to the Zambezi, Katima Mulilo at 32. Then in Otjiwarongo today 35, with Rehoboth 32. And Marienthal at 42 with Keetmanshoop at 36. Then going over to the east of the country in Gobabis 36 degrees and Peterpos also 36. And that's the weather.
Vielen Dank,
Thank you so much.
Kofi. You enjoy your day.
Have a great day.
Have a great day. Thank you so much. Just some of the... jy moet toch vir jou seeglekkers kry vir jou keel.
Ek het gister.
Want jy is die hele dag op jou... Ja.
As die laaste never moe.
Asof...
As die laaste, ek het gister hy seeg lekkers gekry.
Nee?
Ja.
Okay.
Is Mummy's night geweest.
Oh, was it Mummy's night?
Lekkers geseeg.
Rovera, what is going on? That other newspaper that will remain nameless drop a what? Tayshaun Michael, my heart is nie ngani. Waaroor is jou hart nie ngani? Please let us in on that. Dina, yes, devil must vamos. I agree. Devil must vamos. We surely don't want any of the devil's nonsense. Yeah, for this December holidays. Stefanus, James Ananias, awe maka bier bra, payday se penda. Ek weet nie wie het gepay nie. None of us got paid. If you want to have pay stories here, go speak to somebody else. Guys, I would just like to say, you know what? We didn't have time yesterday to recap a remarkable interview that we had. Maybe I can start with you, Mitch. How did you experience the interview with my nigga Get Lich yesterday?
Yeah,
you know,
Lich.
I didn't even want to read the comments yesterday.
Yeah, I saw you
because
guys were avoiding it. Like
you
yeah.
people out there who's watching the show, you unscrupulous elements. Ne? We couldn't even read one comment because the comments were so much and we thoroughly enjoyed the show. But yeah, these elements, yeah.
It gave me a real broader idea of why he's actually doing music. And a lot of people think that he's not smart. A lot of people think that he's a comedian. But this guy really wants to do music and he wants his music to be a message.
Yeah.
And he knows how to market.
He knows how to.
That's one of the things that I picked up, and he was like, because I can speak nicely and I say Get Leech, but my name is Leech, but they will say Leech. You let it go.
Yeah.
It will make them, it will draw their attention to you.
Yeah,
So that's what he's been
said,
doing.
yes, yeah.
This guy has about 6,000 subscribers, 6,000 somewhat subscribers on YouTube.
Ne?
Do you know how hard it is to even get to 1,000 on YouTube?
Yeah.
His videos are average 30,000 views.
Ne?
When he puts up a post, the comments alone 20,000. They just goes up with him.
Yeah.
And people share his stuff.
Yeah.
So that means he gets the attention. And the corporates, do you know what the corporates do? They're like, okay, this guy is going to draw traffic to us.
Exactly.
And the corporates are going to go to him while you're laughing at him. And he knows that. He knows that.
Wow. No, I think as much as we thought, in the beginning that, this guy is a joke, but he showed me another side of him yesterday, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that, this guy is, like you do say, he's got such a strong following, and he's got a fan base that you or me or anybody else cannot deny. So
A huge one.
Yeah, huge
Do you remember the time he came out he came out like Get Rich?
Yeah.
Like the first post that we ever saw of him, the comment,
Yeah, ne? Yeah, but kudos to him, and then like we say, the stuff that we wanted to say yesterday is we just wanted to wish him well. Yeah, so and all the best. Yeah, Tuva.
Yeah, no, the joke's on you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I wanted to say.
Oh.
I mean, I think there is Das Guara, which is fine.
Das
Do it-
Guara, yeah.
Das Guara,
Mm.
and then there is mean-spiritedness.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's important. I'm not saying all the comments were mean-spirited, but somewhere.
Mm.
Somewhere Guara and then
Yeah.
somewhere mean-spirited, and I would just urge people to make a distinction, because no, there's something I want to read.
Okay.
I just want people to make a distinction because sometimes it's really not nice. I mean, you have to think about this person going to read those comments later, and some of the things you guys were saying are just. I mean, I'm sure he's used to them, but
Yeah.
it's still not a nice thing to say to somebody. So yeah, laat ons guara altyd mekaar. Some of it were. I think the person I enjoyed the most yesterday on the comments was Franco Jose, and thank you, Franco Jose. I mean, it was so tough for me because there was a time I really picked up my phone and I did want to read and just pour a little bit of what the audience was saying to him, but as I was going through, I realized this is just a guara
That's
session.
next.
There really wasn't much until I went home and I went through the comments, and there were like really some good comments from Franco Jose, and I wish I had seen them amidst all that guara.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, I maintain I'm a fan, and when I say I'm a fan, people think I'm joking. It's not necessarily that I love his music. That's not why I'm a fan. I'm a fan because, as I've said this before, this is a person that just exists as his authentic self.
Yeah.
He's never tried to be, even with all the bullying at times and the negative comments and Gekani, you know, because I told you we measure people, the intelligence of a person by how they speak English and how they express themselves. And this guy gets a lot of that, but he pushes, he's still his authentic self, and I maintain, and I say this and I'll say it again, if we had more people that can just exist as their authentic selves, as Get Lich does,
Yeah.
this would be a better world.
Yeah.
It would just be a better world.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm a fan, not necessarily because his music is the best for me or whatever. It's just I like the person in front of me that is himself, regardless. But great show yesterday, and thanks guys for tuning in. I know that's also like that's his draw power. He has the ability to bring people, even if it's to guara him, you know, he
Yeah.
has the ability to bring
That's
people and to come and listen and watch him, and that was nice.
Look, like I said, what most of the artists, like in the hip hop culture, like hip hop industry of Namibia, we have a group called We Are Hip Hop. Shout out to Cannibal. He opened the group like a few years ago for hip hop artists, and the hip hop artists were like, "No, this guy is coming here to spoil Namibian hip hop." Just imagine if people go to type in Namibian hip hop, and that's the first person they see. I was like, why will he be the first person they see? Because he has character, and character sells. And you guys are giving him the views. And so the joke's on you. You think that dude is not intelligent enough to know that's the way to market.
Yeah.
This is what sells.
Yeah.
He saw that and he was like, this is what sells. And then he got a team behind him, and the team that believes in him and pushes him. Even his manager said it yesterday. Look, there are better artists than him. There are artists with better teams than him. But the thing is his spirit. He even reminds us to push.
Yeah.
He even comes to say, let's drop what. So that's just what the guy is, and that's what sells for him.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. So waiting on the topic of the day, Roviera. The topic of the day, we're gonna. I don't know if you've seen the poster that we've posted. We're having a Manchester United legend in studio soon after 9 o'clock. Gary Bailey. He used to be a well-renowned goalkeeper for Manchester United. He played for Kaizer Chiefs in South Africa. Plus, he was a very prominent super sport commentator on the super sport show in South Africa. Very, very long and illustrious
Yes, and he is Michelle McCann.
career that he's had. So we will use his brand in itself, and his brand shall not be latching onto any other brands today.
No, I'm saying because Rose says Zeti yesterday he made a comment about the Zeti Miss Universe some month, so I'm saying yes it is. Okay, but before he comes, because I'm gonna step out, you can actually football for yellow ear prati.
So if we would talk politics for a whole hour, and are you gonna let me finish to ask the question? Okay, nee, mas na Maria,
What do
cool.
you mean?
Nee, is na. Ek vra maar net, you know what, if we discuss a topic that you like, we're not going to be stepping out of the studio.
No, I think the difference between you and I is I know my shortcomings.
Also, I don't know my shortcomings.
I'm saying you're okay to dibble and dabble. I am not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so there is a story here. It says, mayorship of AR should end. Why Itula wants Amupanda removed. We now know that seems in this collision, there is some infightings. But alas, let me read. Independent Patriot for Change leader Panduleni Itula does not want affirmative repositioning movement leader Job Amupanda being retained as mayor of Windhoek because he shares council activities on social media, amongst other things. Itula also feels Amupanda has failed to conduct himself as a coalition mayor and has been too focused on promoting the AR's image throughout the year. Itula expressed these views on Amupanda's mayorship in a WhatsApp message he shared with his party following a meeting with other coalition partners last week. Itula's notes were shared with the Namibian by sources within IPC. Last week's meeting evaluated the coalition's achievements, the challenges it encountered, and possible solutions. The deployment of office bearers to different positions on the council was also discussed. The positions, including that of mayor, deputy mayor, and chairperson of the management committee, were to be rotated amongst coalition partners. However, Itula's notes show that apart from the IPC, the Popular Democratic Movement, PDM, and the National Unity Democratic Organization, NUDO, has agreed to keep Mayor Job Amupanda in this position. Although the IPC indicated at the meeting that it would not suggest a candidate for the mayor position, Itula rejected the idea to keep Amupanda as mayor. According to his notes, he felt Amupanda failed to conduct himself as a coalition mayor. Itula also disliked Amupanda's habit of posting about council activities on social media. The posting Itula felt was Amupanda's way of promoting the AR's image. And then they quoted, the AR presented a picture of being unperturbed as to who becomes the next mayor. The IPC, however, was categorically clear that the mayorship of the AR should end to allow other streams on the locomotive. The IPC is, however, not keen to field a representative at this stage, Itula said. And so it goes on. You should go read the full story. We saw yesterday, by the way, I saw, I think one of the, Eagle, reported the AR saying, and you might actually enjoy this, Neville, Eagle said yesterday, AR activist-in-chief Job Amupanda said the movement only assisted IPC President Panduleni Itula during the presidential elections because they felt pity for him. We found Itula on a bicycle and we gave him a Mercedes-Benz, Amupanda said. So, yeah.
Yup.
But I'm surprised because PDM and NUDO said they are willing to give him a chance. So my question is, was he lobbying for another term? Because, he said, we're going to do this on a rotational basis.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, did he go around lobbying in an attempt to get, because the whole coalition was NUDO, PDM, IPC, and AR. The only person that rejected is IPC, which has 3 seats. So they can't do it without IPC. But the other PDM and NUDO wanted him to get a second term. So again, I ask, is there lobbying? So
the coalition is dead.
Well, they brought in, I know IPC also is speaking to LPM.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
in yesterday's newspaper, they said they want LPM in. And what is the guy's name? The AR out most.
Yeah.
And then AR was like, Job was like, Dr. Article is hungry for power. he likes power.
Roviera says, Itula is net a malema. That guy is all over the place. EFF always talking crap about the DA, but they always voting with the DA. Mucho manners die. It's been yeah, sure. We really thought that the reign of Job as mayor would actually last a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But then again, so how long has Job been mayor? 7, 8 months?
It's going for a year now. It's time
almost
to
a
give
year.
it's time to give over.
Yeah.
The new incoming. I think if you saw, other towns have already elected their new mayors. I mean, most of them have re-elected their mayors. So yeah, no, he's basically a year in now.
Franco Jose, the Namibian reporter Trusco scandals. Not my words. Basson as the face up of Trusco. What's your 2 cents on the matter? Your audience is curious. Franco, I believe, you know what, if you read the press release, I believe we basically declared ourselves on the specific issue. So it is an ongoing issue, I think, amongst I think between the two parties, ourselves, Trusco and the JSE. So yeah, follow the news. We basically, as I say, we presented our case, and that's what it is. So obviously there will obviously be a difference of opinion, and that's what it is.
Which newspaper published this?
The Namibian.
Oh, yesterday.
Yeah, it was on their website. I saw a
that
report
means
on their
it should
website.
be in today or what?
I
No,
don't
it's
know.
not in today.
No,
That's
no.
what
Because I didn't see it too.
Yeah.
Neville, do you really think Job wants to run for president? Do you think he would do it?
You know what? The Job is young. He's a politician.
what would stop him?
I don't
nothing will stop
I
him.
don't think Job wants to do that. I just think Job is not a dude that wants power. He just wants control.
What is the difference between
difference?
control
Yeah.
and power?
For me, there is a difference in the sense of Job just wants to control certain things, like
Okay.
certain things like probably the youth development, certain things he can benefit from. Like I
Okay.
see it. So if he controls this certain area, he knows he's going to benefit this and this and that. But he
Okay.
doesn't want like ultimate power to be like, yo, the country is there to.
You can't
to
control
run-
without power.
Yeah, you can't. You must have power.
You must have power to control.
Yeah, but we're talking about ultimate power of a president, and then we're talking about having the power to control the Vanduk.
But this
That's
is
not power. That you just give somebody with power will give you control over something. So like just like Quinton will do, he'll say, Neville, you must go to the newspapers and go talk to the newspapers because you're a peer. He gives him certain control over this department, but it's not power.
and your illusion is that
It's not an illusion.
No, because it's your opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, Job hasn't come and declared that, so it's your opinion. That's
Yeah.
your illusion, right? So your illusion is that a politician doesn't want power. That's your concession right now.
No, Job is not the type of politician that wants power. He wants control of certain things.
Okay.
Job.
Right. I think,
Not a
as Neville
politician.
said, he's young. I would never put myself on the line to say that this will not be an ambition in the future. I mean, I didn't even know he would even go for mayor initially, because you need to remember that AR initially wasn't even formed as a party. It was more of an organization, to lobby for land. So when he even went for mayor, even that was a shock in itself. So I'm at a place where politicians don't surprise me anymore.
Yeah.
I absolutely would not be surprised if even 10 years from now he ran as a president. I wouldn't be surprised. That's politicians.
Yeah, but why I'm saying that is like, I think he will do it probably, but he targets certain things that, like, if we have a land problem, he will put himself in the front of that just to control that. You see, if we have probably a water problem, he will do that. That's how I'm looking at Job. I don't see him as like somebody that wants to go like, yo, I'm gonna start a political party and then I'm gonna run for president.
I wonder
But
what
if
he's
he
doing
does,
at the moment.
if he
he's
does,
not
he
the
stays next to me. He's my neighbor.
Uh-huh.
No, he has like an office like
So
next
you guys
to me.
are talking to
We
each
are
other.
friends. We are like friends.
Okay. Kijk, ek dink nee, Mitch, maybe just in closing, I just feel that the guy is still young. I think his political career will transform over the years. This is not the end of Job Amupanda just because he's not going to be mayor tomorrow. But I personally want to see him continue and still have a very, very strong voice on a political front. And that's just my take. It doesn't matter whether I agree with his ideology, political ideology or not. It is important that there must be diverse and robust discussions on a political level in our country. That's the only way that we can maintain democracy in our country. That's just all.
But I don't want him as a politician.
Okay, nee, maar is recht.
I don't want him as a politician.
Huh? Say again? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. So, are you going to step out?
No, it's okay if it's not going to be there. I don't know.
Because, like I said, I don't know how long. Yeah, yeah. So, we will be having Mr. Gary Bailey on our show today. As I said, he's a former Manchester United player. A guy who's had an illustrious career with Manchester United. I want all the Man United supporters, and especially the Liverpool supporters, to please come on the stream now and come and leave your comments and your opinions about the state of English Premier League football, about Manchester United, and obviously why Liverpool is the top dog today. So, yeah.
Are you conceding? Huh? Are you conceding?
No, you know what? I'm conceding. I'm not in the running at the moment. So, it's between those other two teams at the moment. So,
Never.
Marius, ons gaan hy camera gebruik van ons sal vir Gary hierdie kan laat sit, nee. Okay, thank you so much. Gary can come in. He can come into the studio. Yeah. Yeah, so Gary will be stepping into the studio now. Some of you old heads should know him, and you Ama 2000s. It's a legend. It's a legend that's stepping into the studio today.
Yeah.
Is that a Man United fan clapping?
Yeah, I'm a menu.
There we go.
I am as well.
Yeah.
No, I've always been. What do you mean?
Pathetic. You guys are all
He's the Arsenal, so
He's Arsenal.
Oh.
Like, who stands up and decides I'm an Arsenal fan? Like, I'm just.
No, you make a decision once, you get stuck with it, and then he has to stay with his team. So, it must be tough, eh?
Gary, it is such an honor and a pleasure to welcome you to Informante Radio today,
Thanks,
or
Neville.
Informante Live. This is the Morning Mix, and welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you from you who was at our blessing ceremony, 7-8 years ago, myself and Michelle.
Wow, that was and you know what? That is one of my strong references that I have with you. That I was you guys bestowed the honor on me to actually host your blessing ceremony. So
thanks for that. And Michelle wanted you to know, or wanted me to say that. It's wonderful that you have Michelle McLean's husband in the studio today.
I kind of said it.
You know what, Gary, and you know what? As I was introducing you, to the to our audience out there, to our wide audience out there, I tried to stay on script.
Yeah.
We are seeing Gary Bailey today. Maar nee, toe kom sekere mense mos. Certain people came and said, you know what? Hello.
By the way.
By the way.
Actually, Michelle's husband.
Yeah.
The funniest thing was after we did our blessing ceremony here in Windhoek 7-8 years ago, there was a picture in the papers. I don't know which paper it was the following day. And I swear to God, it said, Gary Bailey, former Manchester United goalkeeper, getting married. and here's a picture with his wife, and it didn't even mention Michelle's name, and she was fuming.
Yeah.
In her own country, didn't it? It was Gary Bailey and wife, and I went, yes,
What?
the highlight of my life.
Jesus. I hoped you basically cut that
You know
out.
what I didn't? I should have done. I should have framed it.
At least you had a one-up. That would have been a one-up for you for life.
That was probably your only one-up that you've had in the 7-8 years.
In this country, with Michelle, absolutely.
I-
Wherever I go, they recognize Michelle, and I just walk along behind going, hi, I'm Gary, hi.
Gary, once again, welcome to our show, and I believe our viewers out there, and I can obviously guarantee you there are a lot of Man United supporters who's watching the show now.
Well, there are a lot of Man United supporters, full stop. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
You do know that, don't you?
I mean, seriously,
With the
Seriously.
biggest fan club
In the world.
in the world.
By far.
by
far.
far. Sounds like the ANC in South Africa.
The whole Namibia was Manchester.
yeah,
Yes.
Was.
yeah.
Before the Heroes came back from Botswana, then you guys
Yeah.
took over with Arsenal.
Yeah. Gary, I think let's start our show today with you've been out of South Africa for quite a number of years.
8 years now.
Yeah, 8 years now. You guys located to the U.S.,
Yeah.
the country that made America great again.
Yeah.
Woo, let's not even talk about that guy.
No, don't go there. Please. No. Politics in America is in a bad state at the moment.
Yeah. You guys are you guys located to where exactly in the
Miami.
United States? In Miami.
Yeah.
And what's life in Miami like?
Oh, look, it's a wonderful place. I mean, America's got everything. And what it did have for our 4 kids, we're like in a blended family, my 3 and Mish's 1 boy.
Yeah.
It's got great educational options.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you can get there and you can afford to do all that sort of stuff, then, I mean, Mish's boy is studying aeronautical engineering. Well, you don't get to do that in Southern Africa. But,
Yeah.
he's designing rockets that can go to the moon sort of stuff or Mars. So, there's a lot of options out there. And we live by the sea, and if you've got a little bit of money, not a lot, but a little bit of money in Miami, you can have everything. It's just a great life. But you never get over missing Africa. And I think for Mish to come back every year has been vitally important.
So did you and Mish just decided, where are we gonna go? Miami. Or was it an informed decision? You guys decided Miami is gonna be the place, or anywhere else in the US? But why particular Miami?
Because I love the sunshine, I love the heat, and 10 years in Manchester, I can promise you get to hate the rain. The weather in England is just abysmal.
Yeah.
And so when I came back to South Africa, I mean, I was still there 25, 30 years at Supersport. But Joburg's, I don't know if it's similar to Windhoek. Windhoek's warmer, but Joburg can be cold, and then in summer it's wet, and you never really get a nice summer. And I always dreamt of living in a place that had a climate, not even like Durban, probably more like Maputo, really, really warm. And Miami's like that. It's warm all the time. It's got beautiful beaches. It's well organized. It's very safe. My kids, especially coming from Joburg, the first 6 months they were there, they wouldn't go out. They wouldn't walk the streets because they were scared.
Leave the mobile home.
Yeah, and then eventually they just get on their bicycles and just rode off because it's, in most areas in the States, it's very, very safe. So, there's a lot of upside. The downside, of course, is you leave family and friends behind. But interesting, I was able to leave South Africa a lot easier than Mish was able to leave Namibia. For her, she's always come back every year now for 8 years. She's been back at least twice a year.
Yeah.
And now recently she's doing more and more work to bring investment into Namibia. So
Yeah.
I think she misses Southern Africa a hell of a lot, and it's been tough for her.
In terms of a career, like, what are you doing there? Are you still doing stuff related to football?
Yeah, I'm doing commentary on soccer. They call it soccer there.
Soccer.
So I have to change my words, because if I say he passes on the grass, they go, what? So no, I go grass.
On a
Hits him in the ass. I've got to speak like that, because if you don't,
Nobody understands.
nobody understands. Americans keep going, what? If you say, what is the route from Windhoek to Swakop? You can't use the word route. It's route.
Route.
Yes, that's
So I've got to speak
true.
like route. So it's the only way, because otherwise everyone just looks at me and goes, what? So I've got this like phony commentator's accent that I put on. But so I do a lot of soccer work. Mish has been doing a lot of the beauty queen stuff, training pageant folks flying around the world doing that. But again, I'm not saying it because I'm here on radio in Windhoek, but her passion above all else is her children's trust.
Yeah.
And just trying to do things for Namibia. That's what she loves doing. The rest of it, the pageant stuff, funny enough, she doesn't really enjoy that as much. Yeah. So
that's part of her past.
it's part of her past, but I'm going to say this on radio. She's probably going to hate me for it. But you know, as a beauty queen, you start to age and you start to, you know, you're not. No, I'm dead. I know I'm dead in the water. I went there.
You're supposed to say it in the accent.
To go there. Luckily you'll be sleeping in the couch and not me, because I didn't ask the question.
I'm going to blame you anyway.
Oh, I know, Gary. Gary, maybe you take us a little bit down memory lane as to, obviously, you spent a lot of time growing up in South Africa. Mm-hmm. I believe you had a career playing for Amakhosi. Samahasle. That's the team you played for in South Africa. Yeah. So give us a little bit of history as to, you know what, how long have you stayed in South Africa? Did you grow up there, go to school there? How did you come about, you know, playing for Chiefs, and what transcended you into going to Manchester?
Just very quickly then, my dad played soccer in England. He played for a team that actually won the title in 1961, Ipswich, not a big club anymore.
Oh, Ipswich.
Because you wouldn't know about winning the title being an Arsenal fan, would you? It's like 20-odd years since you last won it. I'm just saying. Is that not right? 20, 25? How long was it?
Leicester.
Anyway, so he won that thing called the title that we know a lot about at Man United.
Marius, kan jy net die camera sny?
Gary, you were born there, right?
I was born in England, but then my dad came to play soccer in South Africa, in Joburg. Okay. So I basically went to school in Johannesburg, then Cape Town, then went to Wits, and Wits had a soccer team, so I got a scholarship playing there. Mm-hmm. They threw me in the team at 17. My first game, I think we lost 6-1. And the coach was an ex-Man United player called Eddie Lewis, quite a famous coach in South Africa at the time. Mm-hmm. And he said to my dad, you know what, your kid's got some sort of talent. I'm going to give him a run of 10 games. If he keeps letting 5 in every game, then I'll kick him out.
Oh, so you've always been a goalkeeper.
Oh, so I'm useless with my feet. I can't kick a ball. I'm useless. So I've got decent hands.
Yeah.
So I played, and by the 4th or 5th game, I did quite well. Had 2 years at Chiefs, and then played for South Africa, or represented South Africa. I didn't actually come on the pitch. I was in the team. They played against what was then Rhodesia at Rafuru Stadium. And Bruce Grobler was in the other goal.
Oh, Bruce Grobler.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my dad said to me afterwards, you know what, if you can represent South Africa at 18, then maybe you can make it overseas. So I went on trial. Anyway, cut a long story short, United signed me, but I was one of 5 goalkeepers. And you know, it's a tough business there. They don't when you arrive, they don't go, oh, lovely to see you, welcome from South Africa. When I walked into the club after I'd signed the contract, a guy was walking out with his bags, and he went, are you the new goalkeeper, Gary Bailey? I said, yes, I am. He said, oh, well, I'm a goalkeeper, and you've just arrived, and they've thrown me out.
Oh,
so
man.
He said, thank you very much for ruining my career, and walked off. And I'm like, that was my welcome to Man United.
So what year was this? Sorry.
Sure, you're going back in time now, 77.
77.
I was 19 years old, so that was my welcome. I arrived in December. It was freezing cold. It was wet. It was miserable. You know, the first couple of days, you go, oh, this is different to Joburg.
Yeah.
After a week or two, you're like, why is the sun setting at 4? And why is it so dark? And why is it always cold? And,
yeah.
But then you go to Old Trafford to watch, even though I was in the 3rd team, I went to Old Trafford to watch the games on a Saturday. And you stand in that crowd, which was a standing crowd. They were allowed to stand back then. 80,000 people singing songs, you know, it's phenomenal.
It's just phenomenal.
And then you know you've arrived in the top level of soccer.
Wow.
So it took me a year playing in the reserves, and then I was very lucky. The first team keeper got injured. The second team keeper played badly. They lost 5-1. They tried to buy a goalkeeper. That fell through, and the manager came to me on the Friday and said, we have no other goalkeepers. We're playing you tomorrow. And I went, okay, fair enough. And we won 2-0. And I went on to play for 8-9 years further. Only missed 7 games in 9 years. So it's very, very, you need a bit of luck in sport, but once the luck comes, you've got to take the chance. And
Gary, let's talk a little bit about Manchester United and
the current team. the current underperforming team.
Yeah, I think like you rightfully say, I think the club has a strong and a very rich history. And I think all of us who are not Man United, obviously we love to hate the club who are not Man United, but we also take we understand the level of success that the club had over so many years. So we like to stick the dagger into you and
Well, you can't.
twist
As an Arsenal fan, you can't stick daggers in anyone because you've not won anything. If you were a Liverpool fan, I might listen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're a Man City fan, I definitely listen
Neville,
to
why
you.
do you do this to yourself?
Listen, can you take over this interview?
Yeah, there you go. You interview me now. Come on.
Because these jibes, these constant jibes,
I'll
I
ask
can't
him-
take it.
Yeah, I'll ask him something you had to ask, which would have been a good one.
Okay,
probably.
please ask Gary the question.
Okay, Gary, you had nearly like 300 appearances for Manchester as a goalie.
375. Yeah.
375. Whoa, that's.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that you feared the most? Like as a goalkeeper, you must have feared a striker the most.
You know, you're going back a long time, so most listeners won't know these players, but Kenny Dalglish at Liverpool was always
Oh,
so
Kenny.
tricky.
Oh no, they know Kenny.
I know Kenny,
Dalglish.
fantastic player. I played against Maradona. And
What?
I never had slept the night before. I don't know which way he's going to put the ball because this guy's a genius. I mean, he looks this way and puts the ball that way and all that stuff. But didn't concede against him, so I was very happy with that. Platini, he's a great player.
Oh, Michel Platini.
Michel Platini and all that. But what's wonderful is, as a kid growing up in South Africa, I used to hear on the radio, because we didn't have TV then. You'd hear commentaries from the old Arsenal ground like Highbury and Anfield and all these places and Old Trafford, and you'd hear this and the of the radio, and you'd picture what it must be like. And then when I got there and actually played, my first match at Highbury was incredible. My first match at Anfield, all these like almost temples of football. You go there as a 20-year-old South African kid, and you stand there and you look around and you go, holy crap, this is really happening, incredible to play on those grounds. And no comfort against Barcelona. I played in the World Cup stadiums in Mexico, the Mexico World Cup stadiums, the Azteca Stadium. And so you sort of, those are things you only ever dreamt of as a kid. And when you actually get to tick them off, you go, wow, okay, that's something special.
Any Arsenal player that you feared?
No, none. There were none good enough. No.
There you go, Neville.
Roviera says.
Does that answer your question for you?
Thank you so much.
Roviera says, Gary,
Yeah.
Arsenal fans Arsenal fans just don't get it. They really need to just shut up already. Hey, Ro, Khanje, us block you no. Yeah, we're gonna block. Estomish, all the way from Norway, says, so I'll come in hot, no jokes. So Gary, please tell us, who helped to sack our Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? The Norwegians are in mourning period here. We need answers now. Sacking a humble man must be tough.
Look, he's humble, he's lovely, but he's not successful enough. And the problem we have at United, and we've had for a while now, is United are one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest. So getting to Europa League is not success. It is for Arsenal, but it's not for United. Just saying.
I love. Can we have you every day? Let's have you every day. please.
So European Champions.
Serious, ne?
You must be like Michael
When I-
Stent, man.
Sayak ma wena, man. Hey.
You know, they were telling me that you're like the big time person here every day. So one day I come along.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna step out of studio, then I was like, no, he's a Manchester. I need to sit this one.
Yeah.
I'll drink my
Watch
rooibos
him
tea.
humble. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
So here's the thing: United are so big, and they've got this massive financial marketing machinery behind them. They're selling shirts, and you know, I think they've got about 50 sponsors and what have you. And so, you got to compare them to Real Madrid, Barcelona. Now, if Barcelona finish second, it's a terrible season.
Yes.
Second's a terrible season. Semi-finals of European Champions League, it's just about okay. If that's what their standard is, why isn't that the standard for Manchester United? And it used to be. In Sir Alex Ferguson's time, that was the standard. If they didn't win the league, it was a failure. Right? If they didn't get right close to winning the Champions League, it was a failure. Now, finishing in the top four is considered success by some people, but not by most Man United fans. We have to be at the top. We spend more money than Liverpool, but they're above us. We spend the same money as Man City, but they're much better than us. It's not acceptable. And so they've been trying different coaches and trying to find that success formula. And it didn't happen with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He had his moments. It's not happened. Now they're going to try the next manager. What is it now? The sixth manager they'll be trying, fifth or sixth. Will Pochettino bring success, or I don't know, Zidane or whoever arrives? I don't know. But they have to find that person who can do what Klopp has done for Liverpool, what Pep has done for Manchester City, what's happened at Chelsea as well. They've got to find their manager, and hopefully the next person who come will be that manager.
Any predictions?
I think Pochettino is the hot favourite. The rumours are that Zidane has been waiting for the PSG job or the France job, and the France job just is not coming up for him. The PSG job is a fantastic one. And if you're to manage Messi and Kylian Mbappe and Neymar, and you're Pochettino, you're not going to manage them. They're not going to listen to you, but they'll listen to Zidane. So I think for PSG, if Poch knocks on the door and says, hey, I can move to Man United next week, and Zidane says, I'll take the PSG job, I think PSG would be happy with that.
Yeah.
Deshaun Michael, one of our regulars, is asking, Neville, please ask Gary how it felt making that last-minute save against Brighton. I saw the whole team celebrated with him after that game.
Yeah. No, look, it was a very special moment. The funny thing is, as a player, especially as a goalkeeper, you get remembered for your best saves in the biggest matches. You can pull off a great save on a Wednesday night when there's hardly any TV around and no one cares, right?
Yeah.
But you pull off an important save in a cup final, and if you go back to the 80s, the cup final, certainly in South Africa, was the only match we ever got. They didn't broadcast soccer back in those days. So we got one match a year. Excuse me, it was the FA Cup final, which meant that everyone I knew and played soccer with and went to school with and university with would only be able to see me on that day. And so I played in 3 of them. 79, we lost 2-1 to some crappy club from London called Arsenal. 83, we beat Brighton.
I can't wait to read Tangeni's comment here. Go on, Gary.
Yeah.
Go on.
And so it was a save in the dying seconds of a cup final, and therefore it's remembered as my greatest save. It wasn't a great save, but it was the most important save.
Yeah.
And so we drew that match, went back 4 days later, beat Brighton 4-0. And just running around Wembley, again, it's like Europe winning a European Champions League final today, because the FA Cup was massive then. Running around with the cup, all the United fans there. That's what you do it for. And so I was very lucky to do that 83 and 85.
Tangeni with a capital T. You know what? Tangeni, you my man. Okay? You my man, because your comment, we will amplify your comment today, and we will frame it here in studio, okay? Man United must just move to the championship. At least there they'll be able to win the league or finish second. Tangeni, thank you so much.
Who does he support?
Tangeni, who do you support, Uka?
Chelsea. I know it's Chelsea. It's Tangeni.
Yeah, that's a Tangeni.
Do me a favor, just ask Tangeni how many league titles Chelsea have won.
Yeah. Tangeni, please tell us which team you support.
It's Chelsea. I know. Just check.
Word for Roviera, you will swallow your words soon. He's probably talking to... Oh, yeah, he's responding to Tangeni.
While we're waiting for Tangeni, what was your most saddest loss ever? Or hardest loss ever?
Was the one to Arsenal in 79.
I thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I just turned 20. I was the youngest goalkeeper. I still think to this day to ever play in an FA Cup final. I don't know if someone younger's played since. I'm not sure. But we were 2-0 down with 5 minutes to go. We pulled one back, and I thought, I say we lose 2-1. Then 2-2 a minute later. And then the ball went wide, got crossed, couldn't reach it, and Alan Sunderland nipped in at the far post and scored. Yeah. And so you go from 2-0 down to 2-2, and then you still lose 3-2. And of course, everyone looks at the goalkeeper. So I got all sorts of stick from the press and what have you. And it's the only time Arsenal ever got the better of Man United.
Oh, come on, Gary. Come on.
Even in the season in which they were unbeaten.
2004, okay? The only team in the Premier League, okay, in the modern era that went unbeaten, okay? Gunners. Iso. Tangeni says, he's a Chelsea supporter.
There you go.
He's a Chelsea supporter.
And how many league titles?
How many league titles have they won?
He just laughed because
No, I don't think. Probably one, eh? Isn't the one where...
Under Mourinho, they won a couple. Maybe 2, 3.
Yeah. Franco Jose says, We all know, once you try to work things out with your ex, it will never work out. CR7 won't even win any cup with Man United.
Yeah, opinions on that. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
Him coming back.
I was excited about it. I mean, again, he scored this week. I'm just not sure that he's the right fit for what United need, but it's very hard to turn down bringing Ronaldo back because is he still one of the greatest players in the world? Maybe not still. He's now 36, so he's just lost a bit of edge. But I still think he's a fabulous player to have around. My problem isn't with him on the pitch. My problem is with him off the pitch. And I think from the moment he arrived, Solskjaer wasn't a big enough personality to deal with him.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. These guys can come in and they can look good on the pitch. But, Bruno Fernandes was getting full of himself because he was playing well. And then I just think Solskjaer's such a humble, down-to-earth guy that how does he put Ronaldo in his place? It's very difficult to do. I'm not even sure Pochettino can. He might be able to. Zidane would go in and say, you sit down, this is how you're going to play. And they would listen.
They'll listen, yeah.
So Alex wouldn't ask you to sit down. He'd sit you down. He'd make you listen.
Roviera is asking Gary, are you going to be available for autographs while in town? I need a signed T-shirt, bought by you. I will wait.
I must buy the T-shirt and sign it.
No audacity.
How does that work?
Tangeni with the capitals and Neville Smeek read die man laat vir jou like trials organized in England. Now my boy is a footballer. Now everybody is saying here, I must beg you to take my son with you to give him a trial in the
How old is he?
He's 16 years old.
Okay. Is he playing for Namibia yet?
He's not, and that's Gary. That's the saddest part of what is happening in Namibian football currently. There's for the last 2-3 years, there's been so much politics that emanated from, I think it was probably about 2-3 years ago, when a very prominent team in the name of Orlando Pirates, because we have our own Orlando Pirates here, was supposed to be relegated.
Yes.
But then the second division, what we call the second division, there was no second division football played. So teams from the second division were supposed to come up, and teams of the Premier League were supposed to go down.
Right.
So there is this standoff in Namibia at the moment is now, how are you going to be relegating teams if there are no teams coming up?
Sure.
So gunslinging, there's a standoff. Okay, you say, and that's the standoff.
Right.
As a result, Namibian football is in shambles at the moment. Literally. So, and my son has been playing football since I fairly believe, not just because I'm a dad, his dad, but he's been playing football since he was 5. Top quality youth player. But then again, it's difficult for me to see any future in Namibia for him as a footballer, how he can actually better his career from here going forward. Because everything is just...
It's tough. It's tough. It's such a high standard overseas that unless you're playing for your national team by 18, 19, then it's unlikely you're good enough to make it in Europe. And if you can play for your national team here, then you can get to a Kaizer Chiefs or the other Orlando Pirates maybe. And then the scouts will be watching. But the standard in Europe is incredibly high. And I always say to parents who ask me about kids playing soccer, the chance of being a successful soccer, not even one of the top, just a successful one is, I don't know, say 1,000,000 to 1. Right? But if your son goes to college and gets a degree, his chances of earning a living from being an accountant are 95 to 1, 95%, because he's going to get a degree and get a job. So he's got a 1 in a million chance of earning a living from soccer and a 95% chance of earning a living as an accountant or whatever. I wouldn't take the risk. The risk is for those players who have no choice, who maybe don't have the academic acumen. And you get millions of those in Argentina, Brazil, other parts of Africa, Nigeria. They just can't do anything else. And those guys they'll kick their own grandmother if they have to win a game. That's the commitment that your sons are going to be up against. Very, very difficult to make it these days if you come from a decent background and you have academic options. And I wouldn't even suggest it. And then on top of that, you could have all the skills and get injured.
That's
also
very true.
You're not going to get injured as an accountant, are you?
That's true.
So Gary, It's a friend of mine, Mukendo. He's also a soccer player, and I live around a lot of young soccer players that
Yeah.
also played for the national team and also our Premier League and so on.
All right. Yeah.
Sorry, but I really find it difficult to juggle between, like discipline with them. It's between family, and then it's like their nightlife, their entertainment, and what. Like, and you were 19, and you were at the big stage playing for Manchester United. How did you get through that?
You've got to be very disciplined. I used to train twice. Used to go and train with Kaiser Chiefs, and then go and train with Wits. So I did 2 training sessions every night, and never went out partying. I got on a Saturday night, didn't drink a lot, didn't party a lot. Girlfriends weren't many because it was all focused. Yeah, I left that till later on in my life. But no, it's absolute dedication. And the thing is this: they're dedicated in other parts of the world. So if you're not dedicated here, you're not going to compete with them overseas.
Absolutely.
And Ronaldo, if you want the best example of a self-made footballer, Ronaldo, because when Ronaldo came to United, he did extra weights, extra training, came back in the afternoon, he did his little step-overs that he's so good at. And he put in double the amount of work of any other player in that team. And they all laughed at him and said, he's full of himself. And then all of a sudden they're like, wow, look at him on the pitch. And the next thing is Ballon d'Or and the best player in the world. I think 5 times he's won, 4 or 5 times he's won Ballon d'Or. But he's a self-made guy. And even at 36, when he finishes training, he goes back to his house. The masseuse comes over. He does his ice baths, and he does all those routine things. He's not out partying. Because once his career ends, he's got 20, 30 years to go and party. But as a career, you can't do both. So your friends who want to party and drink and maybe only train 3 days a week for 2 hours, they've got no chance. It's not possible. It is just not possible. If you want to get to that level, and even if you want to get to the level in South Africa, Kaiser Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, they've got decent players.
Yeah.
And you're still going to have to work very, very hard, even just to begin to compete with them.
Owen Sinvula is asking, Gary, what's your opinion on Jacob Harry Maguire? I had to say his full names just for context.
Look, it's a lot of money for a player. Here's the thing about United in defence. With Varane, United will go on and win things. Without Varane, they won't. Harry Maguire's not a great defender. He's solid. But you put Varane behind him, Varane is one of the best defenders in the world. Look at the last 4 matches we've lost. Watford, the Man City, the Liverpool, and was it Villa or something before that? He didn't play in those last 3 or 4, Varane. Every time he plays, we're solid at the back. So we've been a bit unlucky with injuries. It's a bit like Van Dijk missing from Liverpool. We're not the same without Varane. So Harry Maguire's okay, but he needs Varane behind him because Varane's got the pace and can read the game.
Estomish is asking, Gary, do you think United should spend money to secure Erling Haaland? There are talks about it.
Of course. He came to us and we turned him down.
What?
He did. He came 2 years ago. His dad came to Old Trafford and said, please, can I bring my son? This is before he went to Dortmund. It's been in the press. So
You are not serious.
And he said, and United had a look at it and said, okay, we've seen your son's record. Where was he, at Salzburg or somewhere? He said, we've seen your son's record. He's very, very good. The father said, great, but we want a release clause. I don't know what the release clause was, but let's say he does well, we can sell him for 50 million. And United said, we don't do release clauses and we're not going to know. So they sent him away. So once again, like Pogba, we sold Pogba for nothing and bought him back for 100 million. I mean, now we let Haaland go. Now we want to buy him back for 100 million. I'm serious.
Like the diamonds live in this country.
Gary, maybe just I think when it comes to coaching and the fact that so many coaches, I think when it comes to their lifespan at the moment, you lose 4 or 5 games, you're out. In comparison, let's say, to the 80s and the 90s, do you think coaches obviously or your club owners, directors, etc., had a little bit more patience back then as to give a coach like Solskjaer maybe a little bit more time? Because I know the great Alex Ferguson didn't win the league in his first, I don't know how many years, until he became Sir Alex Ferguson that we know today.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very good point. Back in the day, you did give coaches 2 or 3 years, and they were able to build a team. Jurgen Klopp's done very well because he got the success he needed to keep the job, and at the same time he built the team. That's what you have to do. You have to win at the same time build your future team. But the way they've structured it now is you have a director of football who's like the old manager. So director of football's there for 10 years, say. And he and the owners decide what style of football you want. So if there was a director of football at United, which there should be, he would say, right, we've got to play attacking football because that's the United brand. We've got to do this. We've got to win these trophies. And then they would get a coach in and say, right, these are the players we have picked for you to play this brand of football. You can add one or two of your own, but generally we're going to, and we have to be able to balance the books. So we're not going to overspend, etc. Are you okay taking this group of players to win what we ask you to win? If that coach says yes, then you got the job. And if you don't perform, then you're out and we get somebody else. So the stability comes with the director of football who stays for a long period of time and ensures continuity. Because the last thing you want is a coach comes in and plays attacking football, gets sacked. He's out. Next one comes in and like Mourinho plays defensive football. He gets sacked. Next one comes in and plays gegenpressing like Liverpool. And then the players are like confused. They don't know which style they're playing.
Gary, you kept twice for England, right? How is it playing for the national team and then also the club? Like, what's the difference, the pressure you get?
It's different pressure, but the hardest part for me was I had two great goalkeepers in front of me. Peter Shilton was probably one of the best goalkeepers ever. Peter Shilton and Ray Clemens from Liverpool was the other. So I spent 8 years traveling the world with England as the third choice goalkeeper, so never getting a game. So, and eventually I got 2 games, and then I had to retire through a knee injury, which I got at the World Cup in '86 in Mexico. But I think for me, even though I didn't grow up as English, my dad was English, so the chance to play for England was just, it was never even on my radar. I'm not even sure Man United was on my radar, to be honest. I mean, I was just happy playing Wits in Cape Town City and, maybe one day go overseas and play for a club. So getting to United was incredible. And then walking out at Wembley to play for England was just, it's phenomenal. It's the national pride, even though I'm more South African than I am English. It's still my heritage and pride and all that. And so, yeah, incredible. Then going to the World Cup in '86 was just brilliant, being part of that. So, yeah.
Just in closing, we got a few more minutes to go. Roy is asking, Gary, is Ed Woodward gone yet, or is he still making that rubbish decisions?
I think he's still there for a short while, but he's due to leave. If we're finishing now, because you said 1 hour, but I know what's happened. You've taken so much stick in half an hour. You're just stopping it now. Is that what's happened here?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
You're fed up being
Come on,
teased
just
about
in closing.
Arsenal.
No.
Yeah, I know. Just to close now, because I've had enough. I want to go.
Jürgen Gijsep is like, hoekom roep Gary my naam? No, he's talking about Jürgen Klopp. This is Jürgen Gijsep. Yeah, he's calling your name right here. Gary, I think when it comes to English Premier League football, that's, I think for most of us as Africans, except for our own clubs that we do support here locally, English football has always been our reference.
Passion.
It's always been our passion.
Yeah.
When it comes to the English Premier League, how would you say today does it really compare to, let's say, your La Ligas or your
Serie A or whatever?
No, I got issues with Serie A, and it's very subjective because of the racism that I've seen for such a long time in Serie A. And then Bundesliga also. How does the English Premier League compare today? Let's say, with these other leagues.
It's the best. It's without doubt the best in the world. I would have said La Liga was the best 2 years ago when you had Barcelona with Messi, Suarez and Neymar, and Ronaldo and Benzema and Kroos and all of them at Real Madrid. I thought La Liga was by far the best.
Yeah.
If you go back in history to the 90s, Milan, they were the best then. Juventus. So Italy had its time in the 90s. The 20s and 21s, it would have been La Liga. But there's so much money in EPL now that you look at the best managers, they're all now moving to EPL. Look at the best players like Ronaldo, they're all moving to the EPL. If you take PSG out of it, I mean, Barcelona don't have any good players left. Barcelona's not a great team anymore.
Yeah.
Take Benzema out of Real Madrid, I'm not so sure they're that good. But PSG is the only team that's managed financially to compete with the EPL. I'm not even sure that will last, because if you're Neymar, why do you want to go and play against Rennes and Montpellier. And, you want to be in the EPL. So because of the money, I think in the next few years you will see EPL become the absolute dominant league in the world.
Gidengwa, you know what? I don't need your opinions here on the show, okay? Yeah.
Talking about you or me?
Yeah, no. Talking about me, okay? Yeah, Gary. What do you think about Arteta staying on? Yeah, why you have to come and ask questions about Arsenal, about my team here, Gidengwa? Why? So must Gary now say Arteta should stay or not?
I don't know. I have not a clue what's going on at Arsenal. I mean, he's had a good run recently, so maybe he should stay.
Yeah.
I said one thing when Wenger left a few years back. All my Arsenal buddies were going, "Oh, we're sick and tired of finishing fourth." I said, "Good luck, because there might come a time when you want to finish fourth."
Hello.
And it was the same when Sir Alex Ferguson left. There were United fans who said, he's an old man now. Maybe he needs to move on. I said, "Are you kidding me? With what he's achieved, you keep him as long as you can possibly keep." And they're like, "No, we'll bring somebody else in. We'll keep winning." 7-8 years later, they're saying, "Bring back Sir Alex, please. We need to be winning things."
Yeah.
So the same with Wenger. I thought Wenger was a brilliant coach, and he got the maximum he could from limited resources.
Yeah.
Now, if you finish fourth, it'll be a great season.
It will definitely be a great season for any team now to finish fourth.
Participation awards.
Yeah.
But
you do make up the numbers.
Give one to Arsenal.
Yeah, I know. And they've got a nice kit, so it's nice to see their kit occasionally.
Yeah, we want to see them playing that kit.
It's a decent stadium, so we want to keep you in the Premier League. Yeah.
Gary, I would say from, let's say, the late 90s, early 2000s, when this rivalry between Arsenal and Man United was basically, at the top end of the Premier League. Obviously, at that time, wow, what a time to be an Arsenal supporter.
Sure.
And basically that duel between Alex Ferguson and Wenger, that's been legendary. And today, equally between Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane. And it's so good to see, after so many years, managers and players who were rivals back then can sit down and go down memory lane and share the type of respect that they have for each other. I don't know if we see that same type of passion and rivalry today. I just don't feel it at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's
what it's hard
comparable
to do now, because the laws are such that you can't tackle the way they used to. I mean, you go back to Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira. There were crunching tackles, there were elbows in faces, there was all that stuff that used to be allowed back in the day. Now, touch a player and he rolls 15 times. It's just not, now it's all little tricks and trying to con the referee. That's what the rivalry is now. The real masculine rivalry of staring a guy down in the tunnel and smashing into him first cross. That's all gone. I mean, if you lift your elbows today, you can get sent off. So it's very sanitized. Players are, not even tackling. Players are told not to tackle anymore. Certainly not to slide tackle. You try and nick the ball off someone. You try and just put a toe in, because the moment you slide tackle, if you don't get the ball and you connect with that player, he's going to roll 15 times red card. So all the combative nature of soccer has changed. It's now become a lot more like, almost like chess. You're moving things around, and there's.
Do you think it has a negative effect on soccer itself?
I don't know. The viewers will have to say. I mean, I miss the blood and guts stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the Pizzagate, throwing pizzas at the Arsenal players in the tunnel at Old Trafford. And, that stuff is just. Also, social media. We would say things back in the day and wind people up. I mean, if you lip read today, you'd be horrified by what we used to say and do. And but now you can't do all that stuff. There's a microscope on everything. Everything that's said and done and is recorded and watched and lip read, and so it's sanitized. But hey, if people at home enjoy it, then that's fine. I mean, it's entertainment.
Maria, there must be a relationship related question between Gary and Michelle that you would like to ask, just so that I know you're not into soccer, but just ask Gary any question, please, so that we just hear
your
voice. Question from Maria.
Please speak about my wife, so at least I can say I spoke about her.
That is such a sexist thing to say.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
That is become I'm just taking
We should close the show on that.
I hope the viewers hours come for you. We know we are sensitive now.
Yeah, but we are tired of this wokeness. Yeah. We're tired of.
We brought it to soccer too. Huh?
Yeah.
Gary is good with his hands.
Yeah.
He captured our Miss Universe.
Yes. Yeah. Tell us a little
You said
bit
it,
about
not me.
that, Gary. Seriously. Give us a little bit of background about that. You and Mish met where?
At Supersport 2010 World Cup.
Aha.
I was doing the soccer side of it. She was doing the sort of razzmatazz, superstars arriving to watch the game and all that. And I was sat with the makeup. 2010. I was sat with a makeup artist. This is true. And she was saying, so Gary, you've been single 5 years. Have you found anyone? I said, no, the last girl I dated wanted children. I'm 50. I'm too old for children. And I must find the right person to date. Otherwise, I'm never going to settle down again. And she said, okay, give me your 5 main things. So I gave age, good looking, obviously, someone who already had children, and da-da-da. And she goes, well, I've got the perfect person for you. And I said, yeah, that's what all the women say, And I said, who? She goes, Michelle McLean. I said, oh, is Michelle divorced? She went, yeah, been divorced 4 years. I went, that's interesting. That got my mind working. So I phoned a friend who phoned her and said, can I take her out for coffee? She was in Cape Town at the time. And so we met and started chatting and all that stuff. And we just stayed in touch for about 4 or 5 months. And I went down at Christmas with my kids and joined up with her. And then it all took off from there. So it was an interesting thing that we met at Supersport doing our World Cup stuff.
Listen. You guys out there, 4 or 5 months. Okay? That's what it took for them to actually,
Talking
really
stage.
start a relationship between the two. So,
You know what she said to me as well? I've got to tell you. She'll probably kill me for telling you this. But when I was first sort of chatting to her, I said, so, can I not see you a bit more? She goes, well, maybe not now because things are complicated. That's when a woman means I've got other guys on the hook here. So just hang fire while I sort things out.
But you are a goalie. You held on to it, man. You're a goalie, Mus. You know how to hold on to things.
No problem.
No, but Neville, that's how Manchester United fans and players meet. With women. How did you and Mifro meet?
Now you taking me back 21 years now.
Yeah, come say for us.
Yeah, we also went for coffee. That's all I can say.
Yeah, but how long later before things got going? Was it 4 months?
No. I think
Might
we
be
spoke.
longer, yeah.
No, it was longer. No, it
Did
was
you
longer.
tell her you're Arsenal fan?
She
No,
didn't.
you would never tell that to a woman on the
Yeah,
first
you
date.
don't do it on the
Never.
first date.
No, that'd be all over then. That's something you drop in right at the very, very end. Just
Yeah.
before you get married, on the way to the altar. By
I
the way,
mean,
just before we get married, I'm an Arsenal fan.
And I don't score.
Come never say your story, man. I get the nice story.
No, I mean I sort of courted her for almost 8-9 months.
Serious?
She was a tough cookie. She made me drive all the way from here to Swakopmund.
Jeez.
And we spent a weekend together. A guy. So
Yeah.
I was hoping,
Yeah.
this is it.
This is it, yeah, but
This is, this little room is about 25 square meter.
Yeah.
We can only move from here to there, and from here to there. It needs to go down. It's Friday today. We're staying here until Sunday.
yeah.
It needs to happen. Near what? I drove back. I dropped her at her mother's house, and she gave me a little kiss on my cheek. That
Ja,
was
dat was
baie lekker
baie mooi,
geweest.
nee.
Dankie. See. I'm like, yeah, money wasted.
But you know what it was? She
Yeah.
also had a complicated life. She had a Liverpool fan she was dating and a Man United fan. And when that didn't work out, she goes, okay, damn it, I'm going to settle for the
Let
Arsenal
me settle
fan.
for the Arsenal fan.
So
I swear, I
Tomorrow we are
know
alone,
her
I know.
ex. I know her ex. I muhu. The bloody fucking Liverpool supporter.
Neville, everything that happened, it's Gary, man. Tomorrow we are still friends, right? Or this was brass.
Nails is brass.
Ah, you can never let brass all day.
So like with the Miami culture, who gets recognized more?
Neither of us really. It's
Wow.
very weird. I mean, especially for Mish, because coming from Namibia, she gets, even now we walk down the road, she gets recognized. We go anywhere, they recognize her. They call her our Miss Universe. That's what they say. Yeah. So it's
Wow.
wonderful for her. we thought it would be a relief because for me in Joburg as well, especially being on SuperSport, it was all the time people chatting. But then after a short while, you miss people not knowing who you are.
You guys know who we are?
And we're walking around with a sign saying, I'm Gary Bailey. No, I'm kidding. But it is tough in that sense. And it's not an easy, immigration's not easy, full stop, especially with 4 kids. But America's a tough place to go.
We are really listening at you because I think many of us, and I have to say this, Gary, I had an opportunity to immigrate to another country, and that has always been my fear.
Yeah. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Different culture. You don't have the friends you grew up with. Don't have people who know you. But I mean, we've been there 8 years, so now we do have people who know us and can say, hey, for 8 years, we've got on well with them, so we're good. And we know the culture, the way they do things, the politics. And that politics in that country is very, very tricky. It's
polarizing, eh?
Well, so there's 2. You're red or you're blue. You're Republican or you're Democrat. There's no
in between.
Yeah, there should be lots of in between parties. So you don't have to. Because I mean, I'm liberal Democrat. So, but I'm not far left.
Yeah.
But I've got to defend the far left because the far right are hammering them.
Yeah.
And the same with Republican friends I have. They're middle ground. But when their right wingers do something, they almost have to protect them, and I'm going, you protect these racists on the right wing, and they're like, well, it's misinterpreted. And, so what you've done is you get drawn to the extremes of either party, and then it's one or the other. I mean, it's terrible. It's torn families apart. And I've got a son-in-law who's opposite end of the spectrum of politics to me. Some of my brother-in-laws are, and so we have a rule. We just don't talk politics or religion at the table, but we seriously don't talk it because it gets nasty. It gets nasty very, very quickly. And then when people start screaming and shouting at each other and calling each other names, and
they don't talk with each other again for months now.
Yeah, so we just, and that's what's happening around the States a lot now, is that people are just saying, let's leave politics out of it. Because Trump came in and he polarized that country so badly. But what he also did was he brought up a very underlying right-wing element into the front, and America's had to deal with the fact that they have this group of people.
Is there no understanding amongst Americans as to how racistly polarizing this 45th president has been? They still see, because for me personally, Gary, it's got nothing to do with Biden. Biden is not the issue for me. His approval rate is like 33% at the moment. The issue for me is not that. My frustration is with Americans looking at Trump and the first thing they say, or my reference as to what they say about Trump, when I ask them, why do you support Trump? No, because, he always, he talks straight.
Yeah.
I say, he talks straight what? What does he talk straight about? Because everything that this guy has been saying for the last 5 years has just been racist crap.
Misogynistic.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You can cut through all the layers of what people say and how they justify them. At the very bottom of it, for me, as an outsider looking in, is that a certain group of people fought for that country. Their puppy fought for that country. Died for that country. And you know where I'm going with this. It's their country. They're now not 85% white. It's now 55% white. They are hanging on desperately to what they consider their country. And so Trump comes in and starts to speak that sort of speak. And they latch on. Now, even they will admit that he's a horrible piece of work. Even they admit it. But they need to support him because their main agenda is retaining control of what they consider to be their country.
And you should know, Trump is a very smart dude. He knew that, and he was like, I'm gonna run with that.
100%.
All the other presidents, we will give black people jobs, and what? Trump is like, nah, man, I want to make America great again for my people here.
That's exactly what he's done.
That slogan in itself.
All married to a foreign woman.
And even a medical crisis, a health crisis that America basically dealt with the last 2 years. He politicized vaccinations so much that it's a left-right issue now in America. In our country, when it comes to vaccinations, it's either you fear it or you don't fear it. You either do it or you don't do it. But it always seems political in America whether you are vaccinated or not.
Sure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that and a lot of other things have become political. So if you're a Republican and a Republican stands up, doesn't matter what they say, you'll agree with it.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't argue. You can't say to people, is Trump good or bad? Because they will not argue honestly.
Yeah.
It's almost like you've got two people of different religions, right? So let's just say, for example, a Muslim and a Jew sit opposite each other.
Yeah.
Neither one will shift.
Yeah.
Because they've got their belief system and they're hoping to change you, but they won't shift. And it's almost like that's how bad it's got.
Yeah.
It's not even tribalism. It's almost like two different cults.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's one cult, and I think the liberal side of it is just reasonable.
Yeah.
I think Biden and everything they do is sensible, reasonable. Europe think it makes sense. The rest of the world think it makes sense. But the other group comes across to me
The 75
as a
million.
cult. Now, what they will say to me is that the liberals come across as a cult and the Republicans are the sensible ones. So you get into this, you can't debate it. You
Yeah.
literally cannot debate it.
Do you think Trump is a Man United fan? He must be watching.
I
this,
hope
man.
not. I
Neville
don't want
is a
that
good
guy
guy.
anywhere near Old Trafford, to be honest.
Neville is a good guy. I know him.
Gary,
He's brilliant. He did that to you. Like, he must be watching this, man. Neville.
he can go to hell. Gary, as we're about to wrap up, you guys are here in Namibia now, and how long are you guys going to be staying here? Are you guys going to be on holiday here, or when are you guys getting
We've
headed?
actually been up to Chobe for a while. We went to the Caprivi Strip and then back. So we did Chobe and stopped at Rundu for a night, which was
Aha.
great. Drove through Grootfontein all the way down. Mish was with her parents at Swakopmund before that. And then we go to South Africa next week for a week or so.
Aha.
But Mish has got some very exciting things she's doing on behalf of Namibia now. And she's always said, I've always said to her, is that the biggest market for tourism is the US, or the biggest untapped market is the US, because you've got the Germans coming here, maybe some Brits or whatever. You don't have enough Americans, and Mish is there.
Oh, yeah, she's
so
there.
Utilize her. So I think she's getting more and more involved now with trying to sell Namibia. The crazy thing is, nobody in the States knows Namibia.
Yeah.
They don't have. You mention the name Nambia. They look at you and they go, "What?"
Arsene Wenger actually mentioned us.
Who's it?
Is it Arsene Wenger, right?
Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
Wenger, yeah. He mentioned us like in his latest Q&A.
Yeah?
He mentioned
Is it?
Namibia.
Yeah, I was talking about the US.
Oh,
Yeah.
England.
Yeah. So for
Jesus van Keetman.
Focus.
So I mean, for her to spread the name of Namibia and just get people aware that it exists. They don't know it exists.
Yeah.
They don't have a clue where this country is, what it is. They know South Africa
Of course.
through Mandela and everything,
Yeah.
but they don't know. So I think she can do a hell of a great job there, and that's good for her because much as our families are there in the States now, she wants to be part of Namibia.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for her, but this would be a great way for her to achieve her objective and to get the Children's Trust doing things here and keep on helping out the way it does. So she's got one foot there, and like we used to say in South Africa, person 1 foot in England and 1 foot
Whoa!
in it's a soapbill.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what her version of that is, but she's got 1 foot in Namibia, 1 foot in the US.
Gary
You
had
can
to
tell
say
us
this.
what the word was.
Gary had to say live on that South Bill. He had to say Maria, I see somebody standing there here in studio with a ball.
For the past 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, she can stand right. Why was she standing here with a ball for the past 30 minutes? Do you have any idea?
No, you can go ahead and say it. Going to have a ball signing ceremony.
Just one
I
ball.
just want to be dramatic.
Yeah.
One ball.
Yeah, we have, courtesy of Informante Live, we have a ball here in studio which will be signed by Gary Bailey, Manchester United legend. And before he leaves the studio, we would like to give this ball away to one of you unscrupulous Man United supporters here on the stream who's watching at the moment. So Gary, please give us your signature there, right there.
Bro, if you win it, you didn't have to buy the ball and you got a signature.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Dangeni with the K.
True, ne? Yeah.
Dangeni with the K. You were asking for a signature, so, bruh.
But he wants me to buy his shirt for him.
Yeah.
As well. Shirt.
Yeah, that's a roll.
Franco Jose says Gary must become an ambassador for Namibia for the fishing sector.
The fishing sector. What do I know about fishing?
Oh, the Gary. Oh, luckily you don't know what's going on in our country.
rot.
He definitely knows what's happening.
Big
Gary,
news,
you
big news
had
around
to
the
go
world. That's what I'm
there.
saying.
You had to go
Now
there.
the people from the States will also know us.
Yeah.
Even if it's for the wrong reason. They will know us.
Gary signed a ball there, courtesy of the Morning Mix. I got one question that I said the first one who answers correctly will get the ball. My question to you guys out there is, in Gary's playing career as a Man United player, which position did Gary play in?
Can I also participate?
Near.
No.
I'm just checking.
Let me tell a friend.
Gary was
Guys,
a good
first
striker.
correct answer gets the prize.
Yes.
I'll give you
Again-
a clue. I'm 6'2" and I'm good with my hands.
Gary, and while we're waiting for that, if you had to pick your dream team, can you give us
Oh
your dream
yes.
team? Yeah.
Oh yes. That's a
Cur-
good
the
question.
current players.
No, yeah,
All time.
current players. So all
Current
time.
players.
Mix them up.
Man, you know what?
Yeah.
Klar. Ngidengwa, you win the ball. Ngidengwa, congratulations, you win the ball. Yeah, DM me and yes. And just send your contact details to us so that we can get in touch with you. Congratulations, Ngidengwa.
Congrats.
Sorry, Gary.
Gee, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. I would love to pick Messi and Ronaldo, but I just got a funny feeling they're over the hill. So you got to have Kylian Mbappe up front. Phenomenal. You got to have Neymar. You got to have Benzema. So that'd be my sort of front three. Varane, I would pick. One player from our team I'd pick. Top goalkeepers, Jan Oblak at Atletico Madrid. Brilliant keeper. Then it gets a bit more difficult as to who you'd have in midfield. I think Fred, McTominay. No, I'm kidding.
Fred, you had to go there with Fred.
I saw a little picture the other day of Pochettino. Really, Pochettino? You're going to leave Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe to go and coach Fred, McTominay, and Matic?
The meme life, man.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
I-
Something
I-
like that. I don't know who the other players
I
are.
had
Mbappe
my.
number
Your
one. I'm
defense,
glad you
your
said that.
defense.
Sorry?
I said I'm glad the first name was Mbappe because
Yeah. Watch this player.
what a
Your
player.
defense.
Love
And
the
Haaland.
boy.
You got to have Haaland up there, by the way. Yeah. You haven't spoken about Kaiser Chiefs. 2 years with Amakosi.
You know what? I'm a Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Chiefs supporter. You know what? And it's not a good 2 years. The last couple of years for.
No.
Yeah, so I have no idea what is going on. I believe the money is there, but Sundowns is just been overrunning that league now
Yeah,
for
but-
quite
yeah,
some
but-
time.
Yeah, but
And
sometimes it-
But speaking on that, there's just a question here that says, what is your take on the future for Dion
Hotto.
Otto and Peter Shalulile in SA? Are you?
Yeah, you probably know. These are Namibian players. Dion Hotto
Alright.
plays for Orlando Pirates. He's a very strong midfielder for Orlando Pirates at the moment. And Peter Shalulile is playing his trade for Sundowns. He's been the top goal scorer in the PSL now
wow,
for
serious?
and a Namibian guy. Obviously, I guess you don't know about them at
How
this
old are
moment.
they? Are they in the
Are
early
they in their
20s?
20.
Middle
20s.
20s. Middle
You know what?
20s.
Now's a good time for them to get to Europe, whether it's Portugal or
Yeah.
you don't want to go to Man United or Liverpool or those clubs. It's just impossible to get in. What
Yeah.
you want to do is go to, especially Portugal's very good
Like
because
Sporting or something.
Sporting,
like
Porto,
yeah.
in
Really
those-
now?
Oh yeah. Because they're very good at bringing players through, and
To
their
the
job
front,
is
yeah.
to move them on.
That's where Messi
So as soon as you're good enough, they'll
Sorry,
sell
not
you.
Messi, but
Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
that's where he
Yeah.
started.
I mean,
They'll move you on. Their job is not to keep you. Their job is to sell you. So if you're good enough, they will pick up the phone to whoever and say, Arsenal, you're second bottom again. Do you need players? We've got this Namibian for you.
Constant jabs, man.
I know, it's like a boxer.
Yeah.
He scored.
You said
You
that, and he's like, "We need to move to Portugal. Me and my family need to."
You're so right.
Yeah, move, bruh. We move. Oh.
Yeah, we move. You are so right, Tuva. I'm sitting here. I'm hearing Gary, but I'm not listening to him. I'm already, calculating. Okay,
Sounds
wait.
like our blessing ceremony.
Is it
7 years
Madeira or
ago.
what?
7 years ago, at our blessing ceremony. He's thinking of this. He's thinking of that.
Tangeni with a capital. Hey, cheap man. Hey, sugar man. Kaiser Chiefs only has the best kids. That's all. We'll win the league again. We'll win the league again. Gary, it's been such a pleasure and an honor to have you in studio today. And guys, thank you so much for your comments out on the stream today. I mean, we've been honored to have a legend in studio today. And you know what, Gary, seeing you with Michelle, we know that she's in good hands. She's in good hands. And sorry, just last question. You guys going to be holidaying where? In South Africa or what?
Cape Town. We've got about 4 days in Cape Town, 5 days, then to Joburg. And I phoned Chiefs a couple of weeks ago and I said, can they get the 89 League Championship team together? And I got a message. We're all going to meet up Tuesday week, the whole 89 team.
Okay, and then you guys going to be heading then back to...
Then we go back to New York. Misha's got something in New York. She has to do some pageant thing and then back to Miami.
Everybody on the
I
stream is
want my
like...
wife to be that busy.
Everybody on the stream is like...
I just count the money and sit at home.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. You see?
I'm sending my son to Portugal. Comments here on the stream. Gary, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good
This
to
is
see you.
probably the longest I've sat through football talk. But I have enjoyed it.
Have you?
I must
Oh,
admit.
good.
I did.
Except for the one very inappropriate
Yes,
comment.
yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
let's put that
No,
down on record.
we'll hold it.
shit.
What did I say? Wat did ek gesê? Ek het niks gesê nie.
So much, Gary.
Yeah.
That was it.
You must remember, you know, the last time Mish was here in the studio, you know the stuff that
And
these
rowdy.
people made, and I know Mish is a good girl, you know, the stuff they made her talk about here in
Yeah.
studio.
Yeah.
You know, Mish was like, ooh, you know, but it was a fun show.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was really a
It was
fun
really
show.
rowdy, but yes.
It was
we got
rowdy,
with,
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
is anything ever
Was it
not-
all men and yourself talking to Mish? Where was all the women talking to women? Where's the balance here?
That's my complaint.
it's
Gary.
traditional.
I'm
With you on
so
that,
glad
yeah.
somebody is.
If
No.
Just before I go,
Yeah, come on.
one big stir and
if you go back and you go watch that show and you see the stuff that we talked about on that show,
Yeah.
and Mish was just, she was like all in her element as we were sitting here. And I was just like, wow, you guys are so cool. I love it when we just, just cordial with each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was just very spontaneous.
Very informal.
Gary, thank you so
Pleasure,
much.
Neville.
And
And we'll be back often now. I think with all the work Mish is doing, we hope to come back to maybe 2-3 times a year. So I'll be around again.
yeah, but
As soon as United get back to the top of the league, in January, February.
to all our viewers out there, dankie.
Check your
Dit was lekker. Ons check julle môre. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for tuning in. It's the 21st today. Ons het nie gepay nie. Don't ask me
Is it
for
the
money.
25th?
Yeah, no. Apparently, but yeah, nobody must call me.
The
today.
way my pay is set up.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Enjoy,
thank you,
guys.
Come on, guys.
Why is this thing not?
Never speel muziek, joh. Hoe sit?
Maar hy wil nie afgaan nie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
No, pleasure.
See? At least I had somebody on my side today for the